happening now? Israel is lashing back with punishing force against Hamas targets on the Gaza Strip, conducting a complete siege of the region. Israeli Air Force today is pummeling Hamas military assets. A key communications tower was hit, knocking out phone and internet service. All power is cut off to Gaza, along with a complete blockade of food and supplies. The strikes come as Israel declares war in retaliation to the unprecedented surprise attack by Hamas terrorists on Saturday morning in what is being called Israel's 9/11. The aerial counter-assaults leaving Hamas ground targets in the rubble. The strikes are reprisals for what Israeli Foreign Minister calls the brutal slaughter of citizens by Hamas, including mothers, babies, and the elderly. The terrorists are taking hostages as well, more than 100 of them, Hamas claims. Photos show an elderly Israeli woman being brought to Gaza on a golf cart crammed between two gunmen. Her fate is still unknown. And then there's this family, a woman and her two daughters taken captive by Gaza militants during a trip to see family at a kibbutz near Gaza. The woman's husband and father of the two children is speaking out desperately.
I want to ask of Hamas, don't hurt them. Don't hurt little children. Don't hurt women. If you want me instead, I'm willing to come.
Don't hurt them, he pleads. Americans as well are caught up in the bloodshed. The State Department confirms at least 11 Americans have been killed in the violence. For more on what's happening in Israel right now, let's go to NewsNation's Robert Sherman in Tel Aviv with the very latest. What are you hearing, Robert, on the ground about these ongoing attacks?
Yeah, they remain very constant here, Elizabeth. This is very much so an active war zone in Israel right now. And you mentioned the devastation, you mentioned the calamity of so many Israelis. This is one of those incidents, Elizabeth, in which you'll be hard-pressed to find anyone in this country who was not directly impacted by all of this. Everyone here seemingly has a loved one or a friend of a friend who was a direct victim of those Saturday attacks, which has put this country into a frenzy which we've never really seen before. You have a lot of people who are heartbroken. You have a lot of people who are angry. Many in the country are mourning. But as some in Israel try to mourn the loss of their loved ones, sometimes it's even difficult to do that with the conflict raging around them. I want to show you this video right now. Take a look at this.
We are at war. We have been assaulted, attacked by a ruthless, inhumane enemy that has butchered our civilians. I am sure that if you for a moment think about it, I am sure that you'll agree with me that you cannot expect us to be providing electricity, water, and energy to the very same enemy that has come across our border and is trying to kill our civilians.
That is in response to some of the stances that Israel has taken here, is that they've been talking about a total siege of Gaza, shutting off all these supplies that are going into the country here. The Israelis defending that stance and holding to it, that they're going to be proceeding forward with many of these operations here over the coming hours and days. Elizabeth?
Yes, and we heard the Prime Minister Netanyahu say today that the bombing campaign of Gaza has only just begun. We're also hearing the numbers of dead. The death toll continues to rise almost hourly. What are the latest numbers you're hearing?
Yeah, for Israel, we're putting that number at north of 900 here. The numbers out of Gaza pretty fluid, but we're well over, between Israel and Gaza, well over 1,300, 1,400 deaths here. In terms of Israel casualties, something that the IDF is making abundantly clear is that the far majority of the casualties that they've seen in Israel, those are innocent civilians who have lost their lives here. Some soldiers, members of the armed forces as well, but the far majority civilians. Elizabeth.
And important to note, Prime Minister Netanyahu just announced a couple of hours ago that in some places in Israel, they are still fighting Hamas insurgents inside Israel. So this is so far from being settled in any way. Hamas is still on Israeli soil, according to the Prime Minister. Robert Sherman, thanks so much, reporting live from Tel Aviv. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.